If you are ready to buy an electric car, and we'll check if you are a little bit later in the video, you're probably thinking, should I buy a Tesla or one of the other ones? Just like when you're getting a cell phone, you're thinking, should I buy an iPhone or the Android, the other ones? Mac or the PC, the other ones. Now, if you would have asked me to make this video a few years ago, this video would have been 20 seconds long. I would have said Tesla. There's really nothing else to compare, but now, and especially going into the next year of 2021, there are plenty of choices. So the question that I want to help you to answer by the end of this video is whether or not you should buy a Tesla or one of the other electric cars, and we're gonna start right now. Welcome to E4Electric, your number one source of electric car scoop. If you are interested in everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, you came to the right place. All you have to do is click on that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss anything moving forward. In this video, I am going to be covering the most important categories that every electric car buyer should be concerned about. And of course, I am talking about safety, price, long distance driving, range, service, and of course tech. Now before that, really quickly, let's figure out if you should be buying an electric car in the first place, and most importantly, if you don't have any means of charging your car overnight. For example, you live in an apartment complex. Buying an electric car, unfortunately, is not for you just yet. Secondly, if you're planning on taking your electric car on road trips regularly, it will be a much bigger hassle than you are used to driving a gas car, so something to consider. And finally, electric cars still a little bit more expensive upfront, even though over the 5 or more year ownership they are cheaper. But for now, if you are on a tight budget, electric car may just not be for you. All right, if you are all clear and you are ready to own an electric car, let's start with safety. Now this is a very easy one. Tesla is one of the most safest cars, all of their models. So if safety is your priority, you cannot go wrong with Tesla. However, most of electric cars are pretty safe simply because they don't have an engine. Up front, they have more crumble zones and many other features. However, with a lot of cars that are still coming out next year, we simply don't know their safety rating. So if you're looking for a particular non-Tesla model, you want to check their safety rating once it comes out. Now let's move on to pricing. I know that's pretty important, so we will start with Tesla. In this case, it's pretty simple. Much like Apple, it's not a bargain brand. It's a premium brand, and Teslas are not cheap. On top of that, the $7,500 tax credit here in the United States is now gone. So the only incentives you would get when buying a Tesla are the local incentives if you still have them. If we're talking about numbers, the cheapest Tesla you can buy right now, though that changes all the time, is Tesla Model 3 for under $40,000, around $37,000, $38,000. And even if you're going for a used Tesla, you're probably going for a Tesla Model S, and in a decent condition with a decent mileage, you still won't find anything that's great under $40,000 either. So if your budget is less than $40,000, Tesla is just simply not for you at this point. But when it comes to other brands, you actually have a pretty good choice, especially going into the next year of 2021, starting with Candy K27 at just $10,000 after the incentives, and they are one of the sponsors of this channel, full disclosure, and all the way to Porsche Taycan at more than $200,000, and I'm not even mentioning the Lotus Evija at $2.3 million. That's also coming next year. But most of these cars will fall in a range of $20,000 to $40,000, which is pretty decent. That's after the tax incentives, and they will have pretty good specs with over 200 miles of range and fast DC charging. I have already put together a video of all electric crossovers and compact SUVs that will be available next year, including the Model Y. That video is already in my library, and I will put out a video in the next few weeks about all electric cars that will be available next year, so stay tuned and remember to subscribe. All right, the next topic is a big one. We're going to be talking about technology. Before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by XPeng Motors, Chinese leading smart EV automaker and the only Chinese EV maker that has a full stack of software R&D capability, all in-house built. For more information, follow XPeng on Facebook using the link in the description of this video. And buy NeoCharge. Already have a 240 volt outlet but want to charge 2 electric cars, or maybe split it between a car and an appliance without spending a ton of money on an electrician? Check out NeoCharge, your plug-and-play solution. Get one today and use the discount code in the description of this video. Now let's talk about technology. I know you probably heard a million times that Tesla is really more of a tech device than a car, and it is true. If you love the latest and greatest tech that nobody else has, Tesla is your brand. But let's examine some tech in other electric cars and see how that compares to Tesla and really which one is the best for your particular needs. And we're gonna start with self-driving. Now here, there's absolutely no competition. Tesla's self-driving system is absolutely amazing. Now, other brands do have some average driver assist tech, but nothing like Tesla. However, there are a couple of drawbacks. First of all, you still have to keep your hands on the wheels and eyes on the road, no matter how well your car is driving for you. And on top of that, the full self-driving package is $10,000 and counting. Now let's move on to infotainment. And because Teslas have these big screens in the middle of their dashboards, they provide great infotainment. You can play games, you can watch Netflix, and even YouTube, especially if we're watching this channel. So hands down, Tesla does provide a much better experience. However, most of it can still be accomplished by simply grabbing your phone and doing exactly the same, unless you're sharing it with pretty much everybody in the car. Now let's move on to the video capture feature. I am sure you've heard of Tesla Sentry Mode and Tesla Cam. That's essentially a way of using Tesla cameras that are built in to the car as security cameras, so you can capture accidents, vandalism, and anything else that's going around your car while you're driving or while you are gone. Now, even though that's not a feature that's being offered in other cars, you can easily get an aftermarket dashcam system, and this is where you're going to have to make a decision, because if you're getting something aftermarket, the most cameras you can have is 2, front and back, but those will have sound, while Tesla, with all of the multiple cameras they have, has no sound. Now at this point, you probably noticed that Tesla has way more cutting-edge technology than any other automaker. However, what it doesn't have is some of the more common features that you would expect a car in this price range have, and for some people, not having those features is a deal breaker, while for others is not a big deal. So let's go over some of them. First, let's mention that there is no instrumental panel in Model 3 and Model Y vehicles, which are their most popular models, that the display behind the steering wheel, and there is no head-up display. So your most vital information, including your speed, is displayed only on the center display. For the European drivers, there are no side camera mirrors, which is something that Audi, Honda, and others are starting to integrate. The phone integration is pretty bad in Teslas as well. There is no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. The text messaging was only recently added, but still has a pretty poor interface. Tesla also does not have the blind spot indicators, which are pretty much on all brand new cars nowadays. Bird's eye view is only coming in 2021 for all Teslas. However, it's going to be sold only as part of the full self-driving package, which is at this point is priced at $10,000. And lastly, luxury and build quality is not exactly what Tesla is known for. So if you're looking for that, Tesla is probably not the right choice for you. So to summarize, the cutting edge tech is absolutely Tesla, no competition. However, more common everyday use tech, well, depending on what it is, you might have to go with a different brand. Let's talk about the range, which is becoming less and less important. However, if we're talking about range, well, Tesla is the king. All of their models can go beyond 300 miles on one charge, and their long-range Model S at this point can go over 400 miles. Most of the other electric cars that are on the market right now or are coming next year in 2021 do have a range of over 200 miles. Some are getting closer to 300 miles, and Lucid Motors going beyond 400 miles. But since most people drive around 40 to 50 miles on their average day, maybe 100 miles on a busier day, anything over 200 miles is good enough for most people most of the time, especially if there is another car in the household. Now let's talk about the long distance driving in electric cars. And I gotta tell you, even though people don't do it very often, it is very important when they do. And I have to admit that the long distance trips is the weakest point of the electric cars right now. It does take much longer to charge an electric car than to fill the gas car, about 45 minutes versus 5 minutes, though electricity is cheaper. This is where you will be relying on fast charging networks, and Tesla has its own network called superchargers, and it's pretty much everywhere in the US, Europe, and China. Older Teslas have free supercharging for life, but you better check on that before buying a used Tesla. Other electric cars, as long as they have the CCS charge port, which most of them do, will rely on Electrify America and EVgo network here in the United States and Ionity in Europe. Some of those charging stations have capabilities of charging much faster than Tesla superchargers, but it's only as good as the car. So before buying yours, make sure that you are aware of what the max charging rate is. Look at the routes you're most likely to take when traveling long distance and see if there are fast charging network stations along the way. But honestly, and I hate to say this, for long trips, I still recommend that you use a gas car, either one of the other cars that you own or rent one. Now let's talk about service, and this is something that you either care about a lot or you don't care about this at all. But I have to say, after owning 3 Teslas, but also many other cars from other brands, customer service is Tesla's worst feature. I run multiple Tesla owners groups on Facebook with over 40,000 members, and customer service gets most complaints than any other electric car groups that I run on Facebook. It's still a problem. It's been a problem for a while, and I don't see that's changing because Tesla doesn't have to care about customer service. Every single car, by the time they make it, it's already sold. So why change? However, at the same time, Teslas do require a lot of repairs. In a lot of cases, Tesla is still struggling with quality. They don't have enough service locations or call centers as production is growing faster than the support system. And also, they're still struggling with parts. If you need a part, let's say your car was in an accident, it does take a while to get. But by contrast, most other brands' customer service is at very least average, but with luxury brands, is usually pretty good. They have more customer service locations and call centers, and overall, they're just set up to take care of their customers. Tesla will get there, but right now it is a problem. So at the end of the day, you can probably tell there is no perfect brand, and that's okay because you need a perfect car for you, and that's different for everybody. Let me know in the comment section which car you're thinking about buying next. As long as it's electric, we're good. And if you're wondering what to watch next, why not watch one of my videos about Hummer EV that was just unveiled? There are some good things, there are some bad things about it, so I put the link to that video in the description of this video, and if you're watching me on YouTube, you can basically click on that link up there in that corner. All right, looking forward to all of your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.